Okay. Well, welcome everybody to the Breakthrough broadcast. We're going to be talking about a subject I know that Nick is it's close to his heart, and it's really what we're doing with the broadcast, this with the Ministry of the Mind. We're going to be talking about purpose, and finding our purpose and living our purpose. So you all know Nicholas now. I hope you do anyway. It's Nicholas Spone, my partner in these broadcasts. So Nick, tell me why it's such a big thing for you. This, finding purpose. I know you've been helping people to do it for a long time. So
Right. I think in our modern age, there's so many expectations and so much cultural programming, from our parents from the time we're born, that people lose track of kind of their heart, their soul, and what their calling is, right? The things that lit them up and gave them energy are often to other people maybe not practical. And so people tend to sweep them under the rug, Freddie, and they live a life that's not aligned with who they are. And at first they can push through it, but what happens is over the years, they get tired, they get run down, they get frustrated, and they don't wake up with enthusiasm. And they feel like they're being called to something else, but it may be hard to step away from the expectations they've put on themselves. And so with hypnosis, we can just run some processes to put people into a different state of mind where they have different perspectives on that purpose. And so we're gonna do some processes here. I'm super excited for this today. It's gonna be very experiential. And as we do these, I'm gonna have you ask yourself some questions. And whatever the answer is, I don't want you to judge it. I don't want you to filter it. And I don't want you to try to change it. Don't question it. Don't try to use logic to see how we can make it happen. Just allow the answers to come to you. And then we'll do some journaling here. Does that sound good? And so this isn't just for, what's my big storm the castle purpose. It's also some of the smaller things in our life, some of the messages we get that tell us to leave a relationship or to start a relationship or to quit that job or to start a business. That little voice inside of us that often we cloud out with expectations and judgments and we may not act on. And so we're just going to do some process here just to completely get rid of all the noise so you can hear the answers that are within you, right? People come to me and they're like, oh, can you tell me what to do? I'm like, no, but we can access a part of you that knows. And Freddie does the same. We always say, we don't have the answers for you. You have the answers. And this is why, people will often say they go to psychics and they travel all over to get these readings and tarot cards and whatever. But when you get answers like that, excuse me, when you get answers like that, they're from the outside and you'll always question it. But through this process, you'll get the answers from the inside and you will feel it to be true. Does this make sense? So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to go over just a few quick stories, a few quick examples, and then Freddie's going to put you into a nice trance that will be just perfect for getting this information. So I did a modified version of this process for my old coaching group called Metamorphosis. And one of my guys that was in it was a fighter pilot, really kind of hard charging guy. And he did this process and connected with a desire, an answer that he had no idea about. And it was a completely different perspective about the direction of his life than what he thought. And when he connected to it, he just knew in his heart that it was true, that it was the right answer. And I had a similar process. I'm like focused on building a business and external success. And when I did this process we're about to go through, the answer I got was completely different. It was more about virtues and values and emotion than anything external. And I don't want to tell you what my experience was. Maybe I'll tell you after because I don't want to cloud yours. I don't want to put any suggestions in there. I want it to be purely from your subconscious mind. And then I had a client a few weeks ago who owned a business and her and her last partner split the business. And it was fairly amicable. So her partner was now trying to get her to start a new branch of that business. and she was talking to me about it. And I was like, well, what do you think? And she said to me, just the idea of it, I felt tight and tense and like I was contracting. And then right after that, she said, but I don't know what to do. And I was like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? Like your whole entire being, your whole body just communicated to you through your emotions about the path. You got that answer from deep inside and then immediately tried to ignore it to get a different answer from me. You see how we do that a lot of times in our life? We get this emotional answer that's like, oh, I feel compelled to do this, or I feel compelled to shy away from this. And then we look for answers outside. We completely ignore that and we try to use logic to override this. And so once I mentioned that, she realized that her body, her heart, her soul, whatever you want to call that part of her, was communicating the right thing to do. And then I did a little bit of a hypnosis process and we kind of reset her there, and she's had no doubts about it ever since. And then once I first learned the arrow technique from Freddy, I did it on a client who had chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, and one of those conditions where there's all kinds of symptoms and really no answers. And I did the arrow, and immediately she was like, everything's gone. I feel amazing. And she went to her husband and she told him this, and he goes, oh, don't worry, it'll be back tomorrow. And sure enough, all of her symptoms came back tomorrow. But what she realized was the cause of her symptoms were from her husband. So she had this like very clear understanding that the stressors in her life related to that. Her body was communicating to her through the symptoms, and it got really clear in that process. And so sometimes we know the answers, we just pretend we don't, or we try to find something that suits our logical mind a little better than what our body and emotions are telling us. And one last thing, and then we'll start with Freddy. I, over the last few years, have built a real estate business, and I got really good. I don't want to brag, but I got really good at buying rental properties with no money down. Like I was buying 4 and 5 properties a month. I got this hypnotic script. I got really good at it. And I was like, you know what? I can build my rental business and I can build my hypnosis business at the same time. And I'm sure many of you knew what happened is I kept getting pulled into the real estate side. Something would always come up. There was always a headache. I had an insurance claim or a fire or a tenant trashed a place. And so my energy, what I really wanted to do was speak and to do these hypnosis recordings and these classes and travel. But what I ended up doing was just being stuck in this real estate business that I didn't like, and I grew to hate it. And so my body was communicating with me. Every time I'd get called for a real estate thing, I was like, ugh, I felt contracted. And every time I thought about doing a live event or a coaching call, I would feel light and excited about it. And so those are the things we're going to tap into with you. We're going to look for those answers and the things that are giving you energy and taking you energy. And we are going to quiet the voice of judgment and doubt and just get into the heart of what's true for you. And like I said, I don't have the answers. Freddy doesn't have the answers, but you have the answers. So that's what we're going. That's what we're going into, Freddy. Are you ready to put them into that perfect state of trance for this exercise?
It sounds great to me, Nick. I know my internet's unstable, it's telling me here, so you have to bear with me. I think we're all right so far. But just in case, if in the middle of this bit of hypnosis, you suddenly realize there's no one talking to you, understand you will not be stuck in a trance for long. Nick's here. He'll bring you out of it. But just in case, all right?
One thing before we start, Freddy, if you have something to write with, that would probably be beneficial, because what happens is, and many of you have probably experienced this, you go into a deep trance and you get this really great insight, and then you come out into normal waking consciousness and you kind of forget the experience, right? Your subconscious doesn't forget it, but writing it down right after will help build the pathways of alpha brainwave states, which take things from theta into your beta mind. So if you can write things down, that would be probably best. So take a moment and get a pen or a notepad or whatever works for you, and Freddy will start this process.
Okay. So we've all got something to write with? Yep. Okay, great. Okay, brilliant. Yep. All right, so if you're ready to get into the perfect state of mind to find your purpose. And not only find your purpose, as Nick was saying, you have millennia of ancestral learning. That's what I think comes through in our gut feeling. And I think that's what Nick's talking about when we know the answer to the question. And how often is someone, you've met somebody and you get that instinctive feeling there's something there's something wrong, but they can speak really well. And then in 5 minutes think, no, they seem okay. Then 18 months later, they stab you in the back. And you thought, I knew that when I met that person. We ignored that instinctive feeling. So when it comes to our purpose, what Nick's saying is that you already have the answers within you. We just got to allow ourselves to get out of our own way and trust our unconscious mind, really. So I'm going to help you get to that point. We're only going to be 5 or 10 minutes into this, but you are going to go into a deep hypnotic trance where we are going to let go of any fear of judgment and judging so that you can tap into your own abilities to make these changes. Nick, can you keep an eye on and let people in? There's still people trying to get in.
Absolutely.
All right. Tell them to tiptoe when they come in. All right. So if you're all ready
We
to
want to
do
mute
this,
everybody. I think everyone's muted, so we should be good.
okay. All right. So if you're ready, get yourself comfortable. Make sure you're in a safe place. You're not sitting on a window ledge 10 stories up with a boiling hot cup of coffee in your lap or anything like that. Right? That's you, Elizabeth. I see you with a cup of coffee a moment ago. So make sure you're comfortable. Place your hands, your feet separately. And when you're ready to go into this beautiful space, just take a breath in. And as you breathe out, allow your eyes to close only as quickly as you're ready to enter this beautiful state of hypnosis and trance. Remembering those other experiences of hypnosis that you've had with me and how it's felt to sit and listen to my voice speaking to you. Remembering the words and the sounds and how it felt as you drifted into that beautiful space. Just get a sense of that happening automatically. Every word I say relaxes you more and more. For a moment, focus on your body. If you can sense any tension anywhere, just let it go. Start with the very top of your head and allow your scalp to relax. Imagine having one of those Indian head massages. And every ounce of tension is disappearing from your scalp. Let that feeling just go down to those muscles around your eyes and allow your eyes to relax. Get a sense of that happening automatically as you listen to my voice. Let your jaw relax. Let your face and your lips relax. And notice when you let your lips relax, how your central nervous system relaxes as well. Let your tongue relax in your mouth. Just for a while, you don't have to say anything, you don't have to do anything. It's just nothing for you to do but to listen to my voice. Let that feeling spread into your throat. Let your throat relax. Let the muscles in your neck relax. Just for a moment, show your neck muscles some appreciation. How incredible your neck muscles. Just think about it. They continue to hold your head up. How amazing are your neck muscles? Let them relax. Give them a bit of time off. Let that thing spread down into your shoulders. Just imagine having your shoulders massaged. All the stress disappearing from your shoulders. Let that thing spread into your arms, biceps, triceps, your forearms, your wrists, your hands, your fingers. And as you let your arms relax, you may become aware of certain sensations. You may even become aware of your pulse or your heart beating. As you relax even more, the muscles in your back and chest. And for a moment, focus on your breathing. Imagine you're breathing in calm and you're breathing out tension. You're breathing in calm and you're breathing out doubt. Let that calm feeling spread down to the stomach muscles. Relax your stomach muscles. Let that go down to your hips and your legs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, your feet and toes. Every muscle relax now. Like a handful of rubber bands just thrown on that chair, loose and relaxed. Get a sense of that happening automatically. Imagine there's nothing you can do about that. Just dropping down through space and time, down to that place of total bliss. Every word I say takes you even deeper. And just when you think you've reached the ultimate space of bliss, trance, profound hypnosis, my voice, my words are going to take you 10 times deeper. Imagine that's happening automatically, and there's nothing you can do about that. Every word I say doubles that feeling. And everything I say now is your reality. Every suggestion I give you, your mind and body will act upon. At a molecular, cellular, neurological level is now your reality. You have a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. And that unconscious mind, the back of the mind, that instinctive, intuitive part of your being that knows the answers to the questions that you've been asking yourself, that's monitoring your heartbeat, your blood pressure, that's monitoring the environment, keeping you safe, can continue to hear, to understand and respond to those things I might say without the need for you to do anything at all. It's so much easier for the conscious mind simply to relax and enjoy that letting go. That's right. Letting go even of the effort it takes to make the effort that it might take to tell the exact position of arms, legs, or the entire body now that seems to drift through time and space. That wonderful free floating place of effortless relaxation and letting go. Allowing events to occur in their own time, in their own way, as you drift as a mind. And that mind drifts without boundaries, without borders, without limits. You have the answers within you. Somewhere within you, you know your purpose, your reason, who you truly are, your authentic self. And as you drift deeper and deeper, letting go of judging, letting go of the fear of being judged, you'll find yourself entering into that space where those answers are held. That instinctive, intuitive part of your being that feels the answer, that knows the answer. Get a sense of that now. And as those answers form in your mind, let go of any judgment of those answers. Whatever the answers to those questions are the right thing to do. To trust your unconscious mind. Because your unconscious mind exists to keep you well. It wants you to be happy. It wants you to be well. That's what it exists for. Get a sense of that now. As you drift into that beautiful space where all the outside noise and chatter disappears, and all that's left is a space of peace, where you can make the right decisions for you. Get a sense of that now. And when you drift back up in a while, without judgment, without criticism, you'll go with that answer. Your instinctive, intuitive mind has allowed you to feel now, to feel the answer rather than think the answer, to know the answer, to know what needs to be done for you to live your authentic self and find your purpose and live your purpose, your reason for being here. Somewhere within you, you know that. You've known that all your life. And maybe other voices have been louder than that voice inside you that's been saying, this is what you need. This is who you are. This is your purpose. This is your reason for being here. Get a sense of that now. How incredible are you? Remember, you are the most incredible creation. And the core of your being that knows the answer, that knows your purpose, is pure energy, pure light, pure love, and pure joy. That is who you are. Get a sense of that now. Because in a moment, I'm going to count to 10. And you're going to bring this feeling of calm, inner confidence, a fearlessness in knowing who you are, and a fearlessness in knowing that you can be who you are. Your true, your authentic self. Knowing that the core of your being, whatever your purpose is, the core of your being is pure energy, light, and love. So get ready. As I count to 10, on 8, your eyes will open. It will be like you've had the blinkers removed. You will see things clearly. You may experience life differently, at a different level. As we go through this evening together, and Nick will guide you to that place. And then it's just about accepting who you are, what you want, and know it's okay, whatever that is. So get ready. 1, feeling wonderful. 2, to find your purpose. 3, feeling freedom from judgment and being judged. 4, feel the force of that new energy. 5, feeling incredibly alive. 6, 7, 8, eyes opening. 9, 10. Okay, I'm going to hand you over to Nick while you're still in that tranced out state. Just wait for Mandy to come back up. Still letting people in here, so.
Freddie, I don't think I'm a host here.
All right, sorry.
That's all right. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, all
'Cause I
right.
haven't, I
Gotcha.
haven't seen anybody.
Okay, you're now, I've just promoted you. Co-host.
All right.
I'm still the host, by the way.
Moving up in the world.
Senior in age, so I'm staying host. You can be the co-host.
Okay.
You can be my glamorous assistant.
You're not going to saw me in half, are you?
I don't know. It's early days for us yet. See how we get on. Okay, you got the reins.
All right. So through this process, you're going to be able to effortlessly maintain the perfect level of trance to get the answers you need, to write them down as you want, to get all of the insights that are just below the surface. So I'm going to ask a series of questions here. You can close your eyes for this. And just the key is to just allow. Oftentimes when we want answers, we go out searching, right? But this process is all about allowing. Allow those answers to come to you. Allow the knowing to come to you. And as you do that, you'll feel the answers and you'll get good at listening to yourself. So that's sort of what this process is about as well, is getting better at hearing your internal voice. So take a moment, get your pen and paper ready or whatever you're writing on. And you can even close your eyes for this process as I ask these questions and just again, focus in on your breath. Feeling the inhales through your nostrils into your lungs. Nice, slow exhales. As you start to ask this question, who am I? Who am I? There's no need to question it or filter it. Just take whatever comes up. And for the second question, I want you to connect to yourself as an innocent, playful child. And I want you to ask that part of you. What did you love to do as that playful, innocent child? And feel it, experience it, know it. What brought you pure joy? What were the things as a child that excited you the most? And as you feel that joy and zest for life that your inner child has, I want you to ask yourself, as an adult, what do you love to learn about and talk about? That thing that if you were at a dinner party, you couldn't stop talking about. The thing that excites you. The thing that doesn't take any effort at all to think about or to do. It's just pure, unadulterated passion and enthusiasm for something. What is that for you? Not what you should talk about or not what you think you want other people want you to talk about, but what is natural and brings you enthusiasm and lights you up. And if you had $100 million in the bank and money was never an option again, what would you do with your life? What would your life be about? If you never had to do anything for money ever again, what would you do with your life and your time and your energy? And again, don't judge. There's no right or wrong. Just allow. For some of you, it may be what you're doing now. For some of you, it may be something completely different. Either one is okay. And what is one thing in your life that is blocking you from experiencing that joy and passion and enthusiasm every day? The one thing that no longer serves you, and maybe it's time to release completely. Maybe something you've known for a long time, but you've been hesitating on. And let that larger part of you, your higher self, your soul, whatever you want to call that, give you a message or an image of that thing that you're ready to release completely now. Some of you may notice how your body feels like some pressure, some weight has been lifted, just knowing you're going to let that go. And how good that feels. And last thing, and we'll come out of it before a few more questions, but the last thing I want to ask the deepest parts of you is, what do you have the most fun doing? What is the most fun part of your life? Maybe it's something you stopped doing. Where are you in that state of just joy and fun? What is the most fun for you? And if you did more of that activity, how much better would your life be? And take a moment, and whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and finish journaling before we have one more round of a few questions. And I would love, while people are writing, if anybody wants to share kind of what they experienced or what answer they may have had that they didn't expect. So who wants to share first? Elizabeth, you look like you're ready to share. I can read your mind.
Yes, there was such a theme. It's like dance, 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 dance,
Yes.
dance, 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 dance. So that's super cool. That's super fun.
Themes are good. And I find with women especially, they in exercises like this, they're like, I should be moving my body like in a sexy way. Like, I'm sexy. Let's do this, you know? And I think people, for whatever reason, don't. And I'm glad you had that realization, because I think for a lot of people, it's this freeing, fun activity. Good.
Elizabeth, you're a dancer, aren't you?
Well, yeah, my initial career as a ballet dancer. And then I've gone away from it. And actually last year I was like, oh, I'm done with the identity of being a dancer. But
Mm-hmm.
then I just got into ecstatic dance and then dance in transformation and somatics and with the hypnotherapy. And so it was just
You
fun to
found
see.
you found a perfect combination for you.
Yes.
Did everybody
Yeah.
see like how her body just started, like how excited she was? That's the natural state of flow. And I'm glad you mentioned identity because, you know, a lot of times we pigeonhole ourselves into this identity of I'm a dancer, but you're so much more than a dancer, right? You're this soul, this spirit, this growing being that's connected to all things. And at times you enjoy dancing, right? Like it's a totally different perspective. So beautiful. Did anyone else have any themes, like a few themes that kept showing up?
I was wondering how many people for answer, question one, how many initially just wanted to put their name down. When you ask the question, who are you? It's kind of, your first instinct is to say your name, isn't it? But that's a much deeper question. And that's, we don't rarely ask that question. Who are you? It's quite a tough question, really.
I that's to kind of get the creative juices flowing. I could have gone probably a whole session down that rabbit hole, but yeah, of course if your name was something else, if we called you Nicholas instead of Freddy, you'd still be you, So it's more than your name and more than what you do. And yeah, it is a deep question.
And I also thought question five, that's a tough one to answer. It's a tough one for most people because, I often think of us. I don't know if you've ever seen the film War Horse. You've seen it? It's a
No.
really good film. But in this horse, it's taken from this kid on his farm, and it's used in the war in the First World War. But in the battles, it kind of the guy lets it go. This German guy lets it go, and it's running, and because of the guns and stuff, it's panicked. So it's running through no man's land, and it hits some barbed wire, and so because it's a powerful horse, it pulls the wire behind him, and then he hits another fence, and eventually he's just tangled up in this barbed wire, and he can't move. And I often think that kind of what happens in life. First it's a job. That's the first like whoosh, and you've got to have a job. Even if it's not a job you want. Then it's a relationship. That's another barbed wire fence. Kids, mortgage, and you end up with and even though you might evolve and think this is not who I am, you're in this thing. It's not easy to say this is, in that number five question is a tough one, I think, for most people. Because most people know what they want, but it's difficult. But because you gather stuff as you go through life, that just is not always easy. It's just to cut away and go, that's it. I'm just cutting this barbed wire away and I'm off. So I think that's a really tough question. Question five.
Yeah, for me, Freddie, it was my whole real estate business, what I spent years getting good at and building and having a vision for. And I just got to a point where I was like, this isn't taking me where I want to go and this doesn't light me up. And so I was willing to change everything.
And it's
Yeah.
difficult when you've got a really good business, you've got a really good life from it. And I know you're on a mission. I know you are, and that's partly why when you asked me to join you, because I know you're on this mission and I know to some extent what your purpose is, and we kind of aligned on that, which is quite good. But yeah, it's a hard question, and you think they'll be easy to answer, but that especially question five. What was ask it again?
What is one thing in your life that is blocking you from living that purpose, from living your aligned self, or said another way? What's one thing that no longer serves you that you're ready to get rid of now?
Yeah, I think that's, most people know what that one thing is, but it's not always easy to just say, yeah, I think that's a tough question. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now people are getting that answer and insight and committing to it. So All right. Does anyone else want to share before we're gonna go a couple more questions, and then Freddie's going to take you into a vision of you living that life and that purpose. Does anyone want to share anything before we do that? Any questions?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yes, Mandy.
I was surprised when you went back to a child. I was surprised at that because, and I don't know, I can't remember what way you asked the question, so I can only go by what came up. But and it was what was my purpose was where it came up, and but I could see myself as a child teaching myself how to swim, which I'd forgotten about. I was in the sea and I could picture it, and I kept on running my hands along the ground and then picking them up. And I was so determined I was going to learn how to swim. And then the other one was teaching myself on a little small red bike that had punctures on it, how to ride a bicycle. But I'd never seen that. I haven't, so it's very exciting to. I didn't know I had those memories until now, and it was my sense of achievement that I had a goal even as a young child to have the sense of achievement. And so then what was my purpose, but achievement, to achieve it is. So anyway, completely out of the blue. I didn't expect that. So it was lovely. Thank you.
That's perfect. That's how you know that it's a good answer, is when you're like, wait a second, that can't, like, what is this? I don't even remember that. That's
Yeah.
a great answer.
And somewhere in
maybe not-
between,
yeah.
somewhere in between that determination of knowing that I could do something and I could achieve it, because I was doing it as a very small child. I was able to ride the bike. I was able to learn how to swim myself. Somewhere along the line, that sense of achievement disappeared, and then what's holding me back? Myself. Somewhere along the line, I changed that. So it's very interesting, very good. Thank you.
That is. And
Yeah, it's good.
maybe it's not specifically swimming or riding a bike, but just the act
No, it's the
will
act
and
of
learning and
yeah, and the act of looking back and kind of going, wow, like the determination in somebody so small, that I was that determined that I was going to do something, I wanted to be able to do it, and that I did it, and I was the one who chose to do it. I was the one who taught myself. So it was. I hadn't seen it. So thank you. It's really good.
I think you've had a new insight into that with your fingernails. You
Yeah.
wanted to achieve it, and that was something you've done it.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes sometimes it's other people's belief in you. And I know you've had people in your life, over the last few years that truly believe in you, and and allowed you to study hypnosis. Not allowed you to, but have allowed you to feel confident enough to think I can learn hypnosis, I can be a hypnotist, I could do some work. So I think that's partly what it is when you're a kid, you believe you can do anything. And then people tell you don't think you can do that. You don't think, and that's what kind of stops you. But I'm glad you've stepped back into your power, Mandy, when it comes to achieving what you want. It's great.
Yeah, it was lovely. It was lovely. It's lovely to have that kind of memory. So thanks.
Yeah, good.
Brilliant. Yeah,
Bar?
thank you.
And you get to keep that determination. Yeah, I saw Bar had something to say. Let's hear it.
Yeah. On the tough questions of what blocks me, at first there were these usual answers that I know of, and then something else came up, and it's the word worthy. And then guilt came up. And I did not expect that. So it's a very big surprise for me.
Are you ready to let go of the guilt and any, it's not real anyway, but you're ready to let go of that and step into the fact that you are worthy of, fulfilling your life and fulfilling your purpose. Are you ready to do that? Are you ready to do that, Bar?
I want to say yes, but it's so hard to say that because I don't even know what that means. I don't even understand it.
To know that you are worthy. You were here last week when we were talking about confidence, and I was talking about you're already a whole being and you're already good enough, and you're worthy of it. And any guilt is only really is put on us, isn't it? It's someone else's opinion, someone else's rules. You know your core, but
It's
your
someone
core
else's
self,
suffering.
huh?
It's someone else's suffering.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It's difficult. It's a difficult one. Yeah. Sometimes when for you to fulfill your life, sometimes, you know, as you say, it may cause suffering somewhere, and that's tough. Only you know the answer. Well, thanks for sharing. You know, when I went back and when we did the thing about your younger self, and a memory came back. I took my first year at my secondary school, so I'd have been 11 years old. I took the report home to my mum, and I remember what it said. It said, Freddie pays no attention to school rules and plays and talks at every opportunity. And thinking back, I'm 72 this year, and really nothing's changed, to be honest with you. It just shows you, don't know how, you know, your character's pretty much set. But yeah, I remember it clearly. My mum reading it out. Freddie pays no attention to school rules, plays and talks at every opportunity. Yeah. So yes, it was a big memory. Thanks for that.
Well, it's a good thing you ignored your teacher because it makes you the life of the party now. So it's a great skill to have.
Yeah. Got me into a lot of trouble over the years, though. Trust me.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, I'm right there with you. All right, should we do, we just got a few more questions. We're gonna get some clarity, bring everything together, and then I'm just gonna hand it over to Freddie to go straight through into kind of the next process of seeing yourself living that vision. How's that sound? Any questions, anything before we get into this? All right, perfect. And I know you all know how to enter that perfect state of trance easily and effortlessly. And as you get situated and prepared, focusing on your breath. This time, imagine breathing in through the right hemisphere of your brain, like that right side of your brain brings in energy and oxygen. And then exhale that out the left side of your brain, your entire left hemisphere. And inhale through the left. And exhale through the right. Each time, strengthening the bond between the two hemispheres of your brain, allowing that energy and oxygen to flow completely. And now inhale right down the middle of those two hemispheres, up through your nose, breathing oxygen right in that corpus callosum, right in between those two hemispheres of your brain, spreading energy through to either side and connecting it deep into your brain stem and down your spine. Allowing your entire nervous system to just send waves of relaxing energy through your body. And as that continues to happen at a faster rate, I want to speak to the part of you that is most closely connected with the divine. Maybe you call it your higher self, spirit, soul, superconscious. Whatever that part of you is, I want to call that part of you forward. That part of you that's been around for at least all of this lifetime, maybe even lifetimes before, depending on if you believe in that or not. The part of you that knows what your mission and purpose is, that looks out for you every step of the way. And feel that energy of that part that higher self flowing through you. As it answers these questions, what do I want? What do you want? And just allow, from the deepest parts of you, allow the answers to come. What do I truly desire? And maybe ask that a couple times. What do I really want? Feel that answer come to you. And at the end of your life, when you realize your life has been an incredible success, what has to happen? What has happened when you look back on your life and see that your life has been a success? How do you define a successful life? When you look back on your entire life, how do you know you succeeded? And maybe more importantly, who have you become in that process? As this person who has had success in the way that only you can define it, who have you become? And finally, who am I? We already know you're not your name. You're not what you do. You're much more than the body. Who are you? And one last time before Freddy takes over, I want to ask that divine spark in you, what do you truly desire? And as you finish writing those questions down, allowing those answers to penetrate every part of your consciousness, Freddy's going to help you step into that version of you, that future self, living those truths, listening to your divine spark and your intuition, becoming your best self. Freddie, take it away.
So as you drift in that space with those thoughts that drift through your mind like dreams, the answers to the questions that have been put to you, some that are hard to look at, some that are hard to answer. As you drift into that space, I want you to have that experience of just leaving your body in that chair for a while and drifting away from your body, the essence of who you are, that intangible part of your being that Nick was talking about, the spirit, the soul, your higher self. Just drifting away and leaving your body in that chair for a while, knowing that you are not your body, you are not your name, because that was given to you. And that the essence of who you are is ageless, it's infinite. And as you drift, I want you to go out into the future, a week from now, a month from now, maybe a year from now, to a time and a place where you are living your truth, where you are fulfilling your purpose, and you know what that is now. And step into that future self, feel into it, get a sense of what it feels like to be you with everything else cut away, with all the ties, free to be who you truly are, your truth, your authentic self. Feel into it, get a sense of that now. And look back to now and notice all the things that you did along the way that led to that feeling of freedom, that led to finding and living your purpose. How incredible are you? Get a sense of that now. And know that part of that question, who am I? Part of that question can be answered by this: you are love. The core of your being is pure energy, light, and love. That's who you are. And get a sense of that now. And take that understanding into that future space. Feel into it now and get a sense of it now. Looking back to now, to that body in that chair, and noticing all of the things that you did to create that life that truly serves you, that allows you to stand in your power and say, I'm here. This is who I am. This is my reason for being. This is my purpose. Step into that, feel into it, get a sense of it now. I know it's okay to be you. You are already a whole being. You're already the most incredible creation. And the core of your being is pure energy, light, and love. Because now you absolutely know what your purpose is. And you can live it or not live it, but now you know what it is. The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, and ignorance deride it, but in the end, there it is, and you can see it, and you know it. You've always known it. Go over it with your unconscious often as you need to know that it's okay to have that feeling of worthiness, that you are worthy of being you. We may come back many times. This is the only one we're absolutely sure of. And it's not a rehearsal. This is it. To live your life the way you want to live it. To be you. To step into your power and say, here I am. Take it or leave it, but this is who I am. This is my purpose. This is my reason for being. Go over your unconscious often as you need to know that you are free. Free of the past. Free of the future. Free to live in this moment. To be in this moment. And to be you in this moment. Feel that freedom of just saying, here I am. This is who I am. This is my purpose. This is my truth. Get a sense of the freedom of stepping into that fearlessly. Get a sense of that now. How incredible are you? It may be interesting to know that in that relaxed, drifting state of mind where those thoughts drift by like dreams, that some enter the mind, that some drift through the mind, some are left behind to be used later on. Others are remembered or seem to be remembered at first, but then become more and more distant, forgotten over time. This entire experience may seem so far away, like a dream you had. As the unconscious mind protects the conscious mind, leaves those things behind, forgotten, but remembered too. It's your privilege. Use this experience. Think about the things that you want to do, that bring you joy, that fulfill your purpose, that allows you to live your truth, to be your authentic self, whatever that is. And know whatever it is good enough. You are already the most incredible creation. Only when your unconscious mind knows and has made those changes at a molecular, cellular, neurological level that will allow you to step into your power, to say, here I am, this is who I am, and allows the conscious mind to accept the changes made. So in a moment, I'm going to count to 10. Every suggestion that Nick and I have given you, your mind and body will act upon. On 8, your eyes will open. And you will know what to do. You'll know exactly what you need to do to step into your power, to say, here I am. And know that you are good enough. This is not a rehearsal. You only get one shot of this. To live it. at the end of our lives to be able to say, this is who I am. This is my truth. And I've lived my life as my authentic self. I'd rather my spark burn out in a glorious blaze, be stifled by dry rot, to live your life the way you want to live it. Go with your unconscious mind. 4, feel a force of that purpose now. 5, feeling incredibly alive now. More alive than you've felt forever, knowing that you are already good enough and you know what your purpose is. 6, 7, 8, eyes opening, being absolutely incredible. 9, 10. Yawning, Helen. I have that effect on some women. Right. I hope you enjoyed it. It's not easy to continue to live your truth. But know, whatever your truth is, it is the truth. We can ignore it.
You know, I had a thought, Freddie, I wanted to share earlier, and then I have something for Bar as well. But my thought earlier that I wanted to share was your life experiences and the body that you have are all the perfect tools for you to live your purpose. You wouldn't have the body you have unless it was perfectly designed just for you to live whatever that purpose is for you. The way your voice sounds, the life experiences you've had, it all contributes. It all comes together perfectly for whatever that purpose is for you.
I'm not too sure about it, Nick, because I kept coming up, my purpose to be a porn star. So I don't know if my body is actually going to keep up with that purpose in life. So,
Well,
yeah,
maybe you're the exception here, Freddie.
it may be, yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe you're just going to make everyone else feel really confident. And so that's your purpose.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Make all the other men feel really adequate. Yeah. Great. Thanks, Nick. Yeah.
So Bart, one thought I had, you mentioned guilt earlier. And when I was talking about my client who was going to open, she has a dance studio and she was going to open a second one. She owned the first one with her husband. They split up amicably and he wanted to then start a second studio with her. And I talked to her and she was like, oh, my whole body doesn't want to do that. And then she goes, but I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, why are you even thinking about it? And so we kind of dug into the root of the emotion, and it turned out it was guilt because she didn't want to, she felt bad. She thought that she was responsible for his position in life. She felt guilty that she was doing better and that he wasn't. And I kind of showed her how he was using that emotion of guilt to manipulate her and to get her to do certain things. And so I think guilt is, you know, we want to do the right thing as humans. Like we want to do the right thing. We want to help people out. We want to support people. But oftentimes when we do it, it's actually to their detriment, right? Because she would have been an enabler for him to keep him from changing the things that he actually needed to change to live the life that he needed to live. And so if she was getting trapped in that loop, it wasn't serving her. And really it wouldn't serve him either. And so once she kind of understood that, we brought that unconscious program to the conscious, up into her consciousness. It was like, she was like, I'm never going back. Like I see it, I'm aware of it. And I don't know if that hits home to you at all, but that was just an experience I wanted to share. I think you're muted.
Can I share something? The other week, I don't know, a few people knew. I was told I've got this an aortic stenosis, which is the valve on my heart. It's not functioning properly. And for someone who's always kept kind of fit and well, and it's a bit of a shock. And I had to go for this angiogram where they put a camera in one of your arteries and have a look around inside your heart. It's pretty amazing, really. And I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't frightened about it. But, we obviously think about kind of, you can die in that situation. People do die in those situations. I wasn't worried at all about it. Anyway, I did the thing. And then the next day I was sitting at my piano. I don't play very well. I've only been playing for a few months. But I was sitting at my piano and I just suddenly thought, what if I wasn't here? What if I had died on that table and this chair was empty? The reasons that you stay in situations because you think you're indispensable, people wouldn't be able to cope without you or get on with their lives without you. And, these people need you. I suddenly realized that if I suddenly wasn't there, all of those people would get on with their lives. Their lives would go on. They'd find, you kind of put yourself in these positions of guilt. What if I wasn't here? What if I did what I wanted to do and I just went, you know what? I'm moving to Barcelona. I'm going to buy a little flat above this coffee shop. I'm going to get up in the morning, read my paper, and I'm going to live for the rest of my life. You think, what about everybody else? But in that moment, it occurred to me that if I wasn't here, all those lives would go on. So I might have done that helps anybody when it comes to thinking about why we stay in situations, why we live the way we live. It needs think, we think that we're so important and other people's lives are built around and their happiness is built around us. That's what I'm trying to say here. Not very well, but that's what I'm trying to say. It was a bit of an epiphany, so yeah. Not that I'm going anywhere, I hope, yet. And I know you all need me. I know you'd all be sad if I wasn't here. You'd all break down if businesses would fall apart. I know, that's the only reason I'm hanging on. Anyway, let's shut everyone up. Put a dampener on the evening.
We hope you're not going anywhere, Freddy. Still need you.
Thanks. Well, your life would go on without me. But it's nice of you to say so. But yeah, thanks. I've got a lot of things to do yet. Nick and I have got plans. So we're going to have some of these retreats in some retreat training in some exotic places that I haven't been yet. So no, I'm not going anywhere yet. Keep going. Keep going.
That heart's got plenty of beats left in it, Freddie.
Yeah. At least I got one. They found that. Some people said I didn't have one, but I have got one apparently.
Thank you.
Look, it's been
very
great,
much.
great everyone showing up, and I'm glad you're here. I hope you're enjoying these. We're going to continue to do it, and I know Nick's asked in the Ministry of the Mind for any suggestions you want us to bring to this the breakthrough broadcasts. But I hope you've had some insights tonight, and that you can step into being you. Can't be anyone else, really. We can pretend, but that's the difficult part of it. And I think most of the problems that I've seen throughout the years as a therapist comes from that. Trying to be something for someone else, or trying to live your life the way you think you should be living it and not living your truth. Just think about that. But once we drop judging people and worrying about being judged, as I've said to you before, that's an awesome space to know you're good enough. Any questions? Any suggestions? Oh, it's gone silent. Even Nick's gone silent. What's going on?
No, is it Delaney or Delane? Because I know one of each. How do you say your name?
Dolane.
Delane. Okay. Perfect. I saw
All
you
I
had your hand.
wanted to, yes, this has been awesome. And I just wanted to say before, because it sounds like we're ending the program, the video that you show before we start the session with Freddie walking, that is beautiful. I just thought, oh my goodness, I have never seen anything like that. I thought it was amazing. Thank you. And today was wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And Freddie, has she seen the one with you reading with the poem?
Don't think you've seen that, have you, Delaney?
No, no.
I still want to put a link. It's on my YouTube, I think. I'll put a link in. Someone can put a link in here. I'm not too sure how to do it. Put a link in the
Just
chat.
put it in the,
Do you know how to
put it
do
in
that,
the
Nick?
ministry group. Put it on the ministry group page.
I'll put it in the ministry, yeah.
That's good.
It's I don't know if you know that part of the way I work with what I call parts negotiation. I know a lot of you've been doing our training, so I know you've heard of it. And it's really, that everything we've learned to do, if you imagine you have a part of you that drives, you have a part of you that can walk and talk and read and write. So we have, if you like, we have these, sounds a bit schizophrenic, but we have all these different programs and parts. And that's what that poem is about, really. And it's just a beautiful poem. And I don't know if you call it a poem or not, but it starts with, I am several. There are crowds in me. At the table of my soul sit many, and I am all of them. The old man, the child, the sage, the fool. And you'll never know who you're sitting with or who I am. But I promise you, as we sit at that table in that ancient ritual, I'll give you at least one of the many that I am. And I'll take the chance of being on the same plane. But be under no illusion. I have a bad side. A bad side that I try and keep imprisoned. When released, embarrasses me. It goes on like that. Not very much longer. But I just think that kind of sums up me so clearly, and I think it does all of us. There's face that we show people, and there's our truth. And we're not just one character, that we have many characters, many sides. I am several, there are crowds in me. At the table of my soul, many sit, I am all of them. Yeah, so it's have a look, Delaney. We'll put a link to it in the ministry. But my friend Kevin, who does my websites, I call him my friend. He came and do a retreat with me years ago. He came do some training with me, and we had 2 days together, and he's been a friend since. And he took me for a day. It's called Green Furniture Building. We go into a wood, into the forest, and there's a man that lives in the forest, and he gives you a log and some ancient tools, an axe, and you build a piece of furniture. And I put a picture of it. I've got my piano stool. I made this piano. I'm so proud of it because it's still standing. And I've been sitting on it for a long time now. But you come out of the forest with a piece of furniture. But anyway, he came to stay with me, and he brought his drone with him. He's got one of those beautiful drones that go up. And he said, let's go and do some filming. And he filmed me with my little dog walking across the bridge and into the field where I take my dog for a walk. And there's a little beach down there. You see it in the film. And it was just an amazing thing to do. So I'll share it with you, and I'll share the poem. but I just, you know, it just seemed to resonate with me. And I know it's resonated with Bar. She's nodding her head. But to recognize that, you know, we're all of those things. We're not just, you know, there's faces we show to people, there's faces we keep to ourselves, but we know our truth. And as I said, it's another quote which I put in when I was talking to you. It's a Churchill quote. The truth, and you could say our truth, is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance deride it. In the end, there it is, the truth. You know your truth. Now you know your purpose. You've always known it. Now you have a clear view of it. Whether you live it or not, that's another thing. And it's not always easy to do. But I'd like to think you do your utmost to fulfill your purpose. As I said, we may come back many times, but this is the only thing we're absolutely sure of. And as I said, I had that, not a scare, but, you know, a kind of awakening to my own mortality. Because I'm still living that 11-year-old, breaking the rules, playing and talking at every opportunity. You know, I'm still living that. And so, yeah, so it makes you think differently. So yeah. Anyway, I'd love to think that you've enjoyed it this evening. And if you haven't enjoyed it, at least had some insights. But, you know, it's the reason I'm working with Nicholas. He came to me in Las Vegas when we were both presenting there, and he said to me, you know, he's got this idea for this ministry of the mind and all the ideas he had. You know, and I've always liked Nick. I've not, you know, some people you like when you meet them, you know, that gut feeling. I met Nick in Canada. It must have been 2017, 19, something like that. And
I think it was 18.
Was it 18?
I think so.
Close.
I think it was 19. I think it was 19.
Yeah. And, you know, and I liked him from the moment, and I still do. And so apart from anything else, you know, I really wanted to work with him. I really wanted to do great with him. And we both had the same goal, which is to let's see if we can create something that will truly help people transform their lives. I was saying to Nick before we came on air tonight, there's so many self-help books out there that you think everyone would be perfect by now. No one would have any stress, but it seems the opposite. You know, it's almost like you can read too many things. And I think there is something that Nick and I are going to find it. There's something that if you just flip that switch, and it may just be the understanding that you are good enough and you can live your truth. It may be something as simple as that. But I know that between us, we're going to find it, and we're going to have some fun finding it as well. You know, one of my goals, and we just joke about it, but is to be running our retreats from some yacht in some exotic place somewhere. And you're all invited when that happens. You know, so keep an eye out. We'll let you know. But, you know, let me show you what I wrote down, all right? I won't tell you number 5, which is what I'm trying to avoid. But, you know, the first question, what are you? Who am I? And it was quite tough. It didn't come to me straight away, but I just put, I'm a man. And I have an understanding of what a man means to me, you know, what being a man is. And so, you know, all of the things that is, you know, one of them is being like my best I can be as a father, you know, as a man. You know, my purpose when I was young, my sole purpose was to make sure my kids were okay, make sure they were fed, make sure they had all the stuff. That was my purpose. Didn't have any bigger purpose than that. And I think that's why, looking around the table here, you know, as we get a little bit older, and our purpose changes because we're kind of freed sometimes of those things to be able to do. You know, and when you ask me what I love to do as a kid, and I love to move and I love to laugh. When I think back of myself as a kid, I was always doing something, playing sport, climbing trees, climbing ropes, anything that was moving. I probably had back then. Didn't know about ADHD, but I probably had it. If you look at my childhood, they say, yeah, that kid's got ADHD. You don't stop moving. And I was lucky enough. He said the things that I love. It's human behavior, the mind, and hypnosis. That's what I talk about. And presenting, transforming people's lives with hypnosis. I know it sounds crass because it's what I do for a living, but it's also the things that I love. I'm lucky enough to have found that, and I'm lucky enough that you're willing to join me on this journey, all of you, and turn up. Doreen, we've met once in real life, but I feel like I've known Doreen now for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years, and when I see Doreen, she makes me smile and she makes me happy. I know she's here and it's good. It's great. I know there are other people on this call that I feel the same way about, but I know it's just great. So I'm very, very lucky to be doing what I'm doing. And now I'm even luckier because I've got Nick, as my sidekick here. I don't know whether I'm Robin or Batman, but anyway, one of the two. So I'm looking forward to this journey. I'm glad you're on it. Try and join us as often as you can. We're going to be looking, as I said, please put in, any comments in the Ministry of the Mind, anything you think, yeah, that's something that I want to feel differently about, or something I want to be clear of in my life. Because there's no reason, as we work together over these next few weeks and months, why we can't clear out any of those limitations. And so ultimately, you'll just be standing in your power, saying, "This is who I am. Here I am. This is who I am," and be okay with that. So I've been talking too much now, so I'll let Nick.
So I'll throw a little commercial out there for next week. We are going to look at your internal voice. I guess we're going to listen to the internal voice. So we're going to figure out whose voice it is, if it's serving you, if it's moving you forward, if it's holding you back. We all have that little internal voice, maybe multiple internal voices. I know sometimes it seems like they argue, right? That crowd and you might be arguing with each other. So we're just going to get really clear on that internal voice. And if we need to, we'll change it. And we'll see how that affects your life. And so I think it's going to be a super fun session next week. And yeah, so leave comments. I should pin that post about ideas for this. I should pin that to the top of our group. But feel free to leave comments in there, and then I'll hang out here for a few more minutes. I would love to hear from any of you, any realizations, any breakthroughs you might have had, some maybe surprising insights, anything that's going to change your life going forward. Because that's why we do what we do, is we love to hear those stories. So we'll hang out and hear from you guys for a little bit. And if you need to take off, then it's been great having you, and look forward to seeing you next week. Nick looks like he's got a share.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Sandra. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks.
Or maybe Nick was saying goodbye. I don't know.
Thanks so much, guys. That was amazing.
Thanks, Mandy.
I'll head on. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye.
Yes.
Well, see
Thank
Mandy.
you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much. That was great.
Our pleasure.
Right. Good to see you, Alan.
Yeah. See you next week.
Yeah,
Bye.
great.
I want to say something. A few days ago, I was reminded of a song, and I haven't heard that song in maybe 10 years. And in the last talk that you did in the hypnosis, you just literally spelled out the first sentence of the song. And that song is from the movie The Spirit, the horse that runs wild. And it says, "Here I am, this is me. There's no one in the world I'd rather be."
Fantastic.
It was such a meaningful synchronicity.
Oh, yeah, great. Yeah.
It's straight into my heart. So just so you know.
Thanks. Thank you. Here I am. This is me. What was it? Here I am.
It's "Here I am, this is me. There's no one in this world I'd rather be."
Yeah. It's great.
It's a good feeling to have.
Nice to see you, Sophia.
Um, Hello. I would just want to thank you. This is so amazing what you're doing. Unfortunately, like this week, I was able to join a little bit later as I was still working, but I really much loved since I was able to.
Oh,
Like,
great.
um,
Right. It's great to see
the,
you. I'm so pleased.
yeah,
To
yeah,
Great.
I really loved the poem that you read. And I was just thinking that I'm really much waiting when you're gonna post it, because I was thinking there's this other poem by Marianne Williamson. I can't remember it. It's a little bit longer, but I was thinking it's quite well suits the subjects we are talking about. So I was
Yeah.
thinking I should read it to you, but I'm not having too good internet connection at the moment, so I will just post it there later
All right,
on.
great. You're doing great. You know, it's very short. I read it the other day. I loved it. And I loved the first line of it. And I did say it today. You know, I'd rather my spark burn out in a glorious blaze than be stifled by dry rot. I'd rather be an incredible meteor than a dead planet. Purpose of man is to live, not to exist. You know, something like that. It's great. But that first line, I'd rather my spark burn out in a glorious blaze than be stifled by dry rot. I just keep
That is
saying that in my head, you know,
that
and I
is
think
very beautiful.
it's how we should be living, you know, do our best to live that anyway. You know, to let our spark be a glorious blaze and live it. Doesn't matter, does it? You know, it's to say I've lived.
I agree. The first thing that came into my mind when you asked, like, who am I? So the first word was sparkle and inspiration. So
Fantastic. You are.
I will just
I can say I've only
run with
just
that
met
one.
I've only just met you, but I know you're a sparkle and inspiration. I know you are. You know, so we had this, I don't know how long ago, we were talking about what inscription would you have on your gravestone? And mine would be this: lived it, loved it. That's it.
That is
Lived
great.
it, loved it. And I'm gonna live up to that, you know. Yeah. Anyway. Hi Cash, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Do you know what? I just put a message up there in the chat to say that I am loving these sessions, and I truly think what you're doing is obviously it's development of us and all of us engaging. It's self-development, and I think just even these last 2 weeks has been just tremendously transformational. So
Oh,
thank you
thanks.
for that, first of all.
Thanks.
I think it's the best form of self-development I've been involved in.
Oh, great. Thank you.
And
It's about keep reminding ourselves though. You know, it's like this is what Nick and I were saying today, you know, you can read a self-help book and you think, yeah, that makes real good sense. You know, I understand who I am now. But then life gets back, you get back to work and you get back to life and you just forget about it. It's about trying to keep that momentum going. I think by doing these every week, that's what we're hoping, every Thursday, you know, by the time it kind of starts to wear off, boom, you're back in it again, you know, with another transformational idea.
yeah,
So I think it's important.
yeah, just in that message I put up today, it was just as you were going through those questions, Nick, as an adult, I'm 56, right? But as a young adult, I was at uni and then going on to work, and I noticed what sort of person I was. And just in your second question as a child, I just thought, that makes perfect sense. I'd never pieced it together. But then going back to the first question of who am I? In that very first time round, I realized I am free. And then echoes when Freddie said about being love, being energy. And that's all I ever see myself as. I remember playing in a you know, garden. It was a big garden. It was just grass. And all I wanted to do was be outside and run around and like a 2, 3-year-old, 4-year-old kid. And throughout my life, that's all I want to do. You know, just be free, be not tied to anything, anybody.
Mhm.
And we all have families and we often feel obliged to be tied, but it's a horrible obligation. It's attachment that I think is put upon us. And yeah, we'll be sad when we don't have those people around us, but I'll be sad about other people who are not family that I love. So, Freddie, you're not going anywhere, right? For a long time.
Oh, I hope not. I hope not. My
But I
dad was
just
not. My dad
realised,
was 97. He died last year. He was 97, and I'm not going to let him outlive me. No way. No way. You know,
as a
so
kid in that,
as I say,
yeah,
Nick and I got a long way to go, and he's a lot younger than me. So, you know, luckily he'll be able to, you know, wheel me round later on. You don't know that's why I got involved with him because he looks strong enough. The time comes. Here
Well,
he
at
is.
that point, we'll hire somebody to do that, Freddie.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. All right. Yeah. But look, I'm glad you're
thank
here.
you
I'm
very,
saying,
very much.
yeah,
Thanks for sharing, guys.
I met Blaine in Dublin. It was great to meet her. So I say your name. Am I pronouncing it right? Blaine?
Yes, that's right, Blaine.
Blaine, yeah.
Good.
And it was great, wasn't it? It was really good.
Yeah, great. Lots of nice to meet you, girl.
Yeah.
You know, Kesh and everything. See you next week. And good
Yeah.
man. Glad that procedure is brilliant. And yeah,
Thanks
you're
very
going
much.
around for years. Isn't that great?
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you again.
Okie dokie. Thanks a
Okay.
million. That was
Thanks
great.
for coming.
Take care.
See you again. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. And Doreen, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, I had a bit of a flu patch there for a while. Yeah, a couple of days where I was just completely knocked out. My voice is still
All right.
recovering.
Well, it's
But
nice
yeah, I feel
nice to see
better.
you.
Nice to see you always. So how did that test turn out then?
They're going to monitor me for the next, I don't know how long, but I'm working on it. You know, I'm working on it myself. Now I know what it looks like. Now I know I can visualize what it's like. You know, so I can picture it going back to normal. I fully expect it to. But it's not, you know, they're not going to operate or anything. It was pretty scary when they first said it. So, well, you know, I said, what? They said, well, you know, it might be that we have to, you know, crack your chest open and pull your ribs open and we take your heart out. And well, yeah, that doesn't sound very good at the time, but it's not going to happen. So,
Well, isn't that horrible? I mean,
yeah.
It's just
It's kind of it made it clear to me that I truly it's very strange. I can't worry about things. I can't worry about things. You know, I try and look after myself best I can, and but you know, that's it. But I won't worry. I can't worry about it. I just cannot worry about it.
yeah,
It's very
you
strange.
can't take that authority of a doctor seriously.
But I'm not going to run. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to do any more ultra marathons or, you know, it's just got. It's hard to accept. You know, and most, you know, all of you are a lot younger than me, but in my head, that's the worst thing. In my head, I'm 28, and my body says no. It's like I've been living like a 28-year-old for the last since I was 28, I suppose, and that was like 40 years ago or something. No, longer
Well,
than
Freddie,
that.
we need to work on this.
44 years ago when I was 28.
We need to work on this hypnotic fountain of youth product we're coming out with. I think that's going to be
rejuvenation.
Once we get that down, I think we're all set.
Yeah, you won't recognize me.
Yeah, and there's some meridian stuff you can do. Yeah. Well, Mike Mandel talks about this a lot in the Genshin Jutsu protocol. It's just yeah, it's really simple.
Touch point things.
Yeah.
I run my own quantum healing thing. So I've just been focusing on you know, because I know what it looks like. When I went for the echogram thing, the nurse there said, "Oh, well, this is what a nice one looks like." This is a healthy one, which was pink. You know, and you put your finger in it. She said, "Oh yeah, it's really easy. This is what yours is like. Grey, stiff." I said, "No." So I know what it looks like. Good one looks like. So I'm working on it. I'll get it back to normal. And yeah, things to do. Yeah, lots of things to do. So
Yeah. Okay.
You definitely have the best tool for it.
yeah, I do. Yeah. So yeah, fully expect me to be around for a long while yet. Got that yacht parties have yet? Got to be fit enough for the yacht party. I've got my gold speedos ordered. Can't waste them.
Okay. Well, I've got to go.
Don't let it put you off, Doreen.
It's already no, it's already an hour later. I already live in your future, so
Get some sleep, Dorian. Thanks for coming.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, guys. Love
Lovely.
you.
Thank you. I
Bye-bye.
think we should kind of close it down. It's been lovely speaking to you all. You think so, Nick? You all right?
Yeah, it's been great. These are one of my favorite things to do is to show people the answers that are, that they don't know how to look for. And then they get in, they're like, why didn't I see that before? And so they're pretty cool experiences. So I'm happy we could bring that to people. And I think, yeah, it seems like people enjoyed it. So
yeah,
good.
Yeah, good. Okay. Look, have a beautiful weekend. I know it's Friday tomorrow, a bit early, but have a beautiful weekend. And just stay focused. Know you're good enough. Wherever you can, step into your truth. Be yourself. Here I am. This is me. And I am happy with who I am. Something like that, is it?
Something like that. Yeah, pretty close.
Thank you, guys. This has been really, really meaningful. Thank you.
Great to see you. And thanks for your input, Bar. And thank you as well, Sophia. Good to meet you and good to see you. And you, Kesh. And we'll see you all again soon, all right?
Yeah, thanks very much.
Definitely.
Night, everyone.
Thank
Right, take
you
care.
so much.
Bye. And I'll speak to you in a while, Nick, yeah?